Most people believe in the modern day pirates only exist in movies such as the Pirates of the Caribbean, but this can be more false. In many countries around the world, piracy is still an issue, most notably the country of Somalia. Today I'm discussing the current situation of Somalian piracy, the steps the international community has taken to fight piracy, and the underlying causes of Somalian piracy. Much of the information I'm going to speak with you today comes from these sources: Thomas Kelly, Combating Piracy Week, State.gov, October 25, 2012. Andrew Carlson, Pirates of Puntland, Origins.edu, June 2009. And Human Rights Watch, World Report 2014, HRW.org. This brings me to my first point, the current situation in Somalian piracy. You may be thinking, how is piracy even possible in Somalia? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Since Somalia doesn't have a formal government infrastructure, piracy is actually legal. In the year 2008, 111 out of 293 worldwide cases of piracy happened off the coast of Somalia. This led to the piracy being Somalia's largest industry with $150 million generated that year. There's one act that year I would like to harp on. This came when pirates took over the Saudi-owned Sirius Star with a $100 million cargo. The reason I picked this one example, is because it perfectly proves how Somalians use their tactics and how they pick their targets. Their tactics are pretty simple. They use one large vessel carrying many smaller boats out into the ocean. When they find a potential target, they release all the small boats armed with aluminum ladders and AK-47s. This is the plastic version of an AK-47. And then they swarm the vessel and bring the vessel back to Somalian waters. Here I have a picture of Somalian pirates surrounding a cargo vessel. The result of this conflict was a $3 million ransom to Somalian pirates for the crew and the ship. But it didn't happen until later in 2009, the Somalian pirate conflict wasn't brought to America's front door. An American flag ship was taken along with their crew in 2009. The result of this conflict was the United States military taking out 3 out of the 4 pirates and the last one captured. Even though this had a good result for the United States, it proved that something needed to be done about the Somalian pirates. This leads to my next point, what the international community is doing to combat piracy. In a globalized economy, piracy can have an impact around the world because people rely on food, energy, and consumer goods by the waterway. Because it is so important to keep the waterway safe and secure, the United States, UK, NATO have stepped up their efforts to combat piracy. Some of the contributing factors are military power, which is, for example, the United States Navy patrolling the waters of Somalia, collaboration with the private sector, which is helping private companies improve their pirate fighting tactics, targeting piracy networks, which is taking the fight to the pirates by destroying their financial networks and taking out the ringleaders. These steps are important for defeating piracy in the short term, but to defeat piracy in the long term, we must first outline the causes of piracy in Somalia. Somalia is a country riddled with civil war, terrorist attacks, and drought. The best way to describe Somalia is a country with too many guns and not enough food. A startling statistic that shows how rough it is growing up in Somalia is that 150 kids died every 1,000 before they reach age 5. And this right here is a picture of some Somali kids just trying to get some food. See how hungry they are. A quote, with such desperate situation, this drives people to commit crimes such as piracy just to survive. A quote from Kenneth Matthews about Somalia is by far the longest running instance of state collapse in the post-colonial era. The human race as a whole needs to come together and help Somalia rebuild infrastructure so such thing as piracy is not a viable option just to survive. Today I've discussed with you the current situation of Somalian piracy, the steps the international community is taking to fight piracy, and the underlying causes of Somalian piracy. Although today's piracy is no longer the means of nostalgic wooden ships of the past, it is still a threat for sea safety. And in today's world, we need to make it so such thing as piracy is not just a way It's not used as something so people can survive. We should all be able to live in peace. You surrender.